Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is episode 7 of 10 shared element transition series, which I would like to record here on YouTube. I was inspired by Devin. He created this beautiful UI and a shared element transition along with some nice animations. And I will show you my way of doing it in React Native by using the shared element transition plus Animatable and Animated API from React Native. This tutorial is going to be different, and I would like to start everything from scratch, and I will show you how to build those tabs, the list, the carousel and everything, plus how to animate on the detail screen the subcategories for each image and how to stagger the text after entering the second screen. So I received lots of comments about please build everything from scratch, because I would like to also learn the UI and how you are actually building using Flexbox. And I decided that this is a tutorial where I will introduce you some UI parts and how you can actually style those lists. So lots of things are going on, and thank you all for the suggestions and feedback. I receive a lot of comments from you. So let's play the intro and jump straight into VS Code and start building everything from scratch. Shall we? Alrighty guys, so we are in VS Code here and I have the data. I have an entry point for tutorial number 7, nothing is visible on the screen, and I've created a food list, which is the initial screen, and then food list details. That's going to basically be the second screen right after pressing on a button there. And I also have some data that we will work with. So let me walk you through the data itself. I have some icons that are grabbed from FlatIcon. The link to the whole pack is down in the description if you'd like to follow up. So thank you so much, FlatIcon, for the pack for those elements. And I have here, I grabbed the data, so we have some data, right? And then we have some colors and a list of tabs. And the list of tabs I just hard-coded: today, chips, fish, tea, burger, coffee, drinks, and breakfast. And then I iterate over this data, and I'm creating the data for the flat list, the carousel itself that's going to share some elements to the second screen. And I have here a subtype. I'm using Faker to get the data. I also have a price, subcategories that I will be using on the detail screen to animate the transitions for the diagonal. And then I have a list here of popular foods, which is basically the list underneath this carousel, where we display a small image, a title, a rating, plus the price. And let's start by going to the food list here and start building the tabs and use the state to actually select the tab itself. So first I would like to create here some state. So I'll say selected tab and set selected tab, and React use state, and I'll start from tabs, the first one, right? It's going to be the selected. So first we will create the tabs, then we will create the featured food, and then we will create the carousel, the main carousel, and afterwards we will move to the detail screen. So for the selected tabs, like the list from the top, we'll have a scroll view, or let's do a flat list actually, flat list. And here we will have the data is going to be the tabs. The key extractor is going to be item and item, or maybe we can do item and index, and we'll say here item and then the index, right? We'll have a render item, and here we'll get the item itself, right? And we'll display a view. Inside the view we'll have a text. Basically this is the peel. So let's style let's apply a different style. So for the view, we'll have styles of peel, and for the text, we'll have a style of styles peel text. And inside, we will display the item. So we have this list, beautiful, and we would like to make it horizontal, right? So horizontal, and we would like to show horizontal indicator to false. And now let's wrap this view into a touchable opacity, because we will also like to set the selected tab with the selected one, right? So on press, we will say set the selected tab with the item. Hit save. And now for the peel itself, I would like to also pass some style. So the background color, in case the selected tab is equal to the item, maybe it's better to just rename this to be a tab, because it makes more sense, right? If this is true, we would like to make this orange. Otherwise, we'll make this transparent. So now, so the peel, actually this is a list of styles. This is item, and item as tab, sorry. Because item, it's like the argument which FlatList is sending, right? But I would like to remap it to a tab, because the naming convention makes more sense. And let's apply the same styles for the peel text, but this time, if it's selected tab, I would like to make it white. Otherwise, I would like to make it, let's say, black. And this is complaining. Okay, the color is going to be this one, right? So now I press on a button, it's going to set the selected tab, and it's going to change the styles. Beautiful. And now let's go to the styles and style the peel. So peel text, and I would also like to say here for the peel, I would like to give it a padding of spacing. So padding horizontal and padding vertical is going to be spacing divided by 2. So we create some breathing room here. I would like to make this rounded, so let's say 12, the border radius. And then for the text itself, I would like to make it font weight 700, so it's bold. And I would like to, if I'm going to the FlatList now and apply a style of background color red, you'll see that this is going to stretch the entire screen, and we would like to just avoid it and make it as it is, like the inner, the children, right? And to do that, we need to pass here flex grow of 0. So now it's making this style. And for the content container style, so the inner style is going to have a padding of spacing. All right, so we styled those items, and now let's move to the featured food. So we have this list here where we would like to display the image, rating, and price, and the where it is, and the type, right? So we'll have here, let's go to the FlatList, create another FlatList here. FlatList. So we'll have data, popular food. I'll have a key extractor item and item.key, and then a render item is going to take that item and display something, right? So we will return here view. And how this is going to work, we'll split the views. So the main view is going to have a flex direction of row. So style, flex direction of row. And here inside we'll have 3 different views. So view for the image, so image, let's import image, and the source is going to be URI item.image, and apply a style. So styles.popular image. Then we'll have another view which will contain the type and the rating. So here I'll have a text containing the item type hit save. So we have this, and down below we'll have another view that will contain the rating name and the icon. So I'll have here an design. I'll give this a name of, I think it's star. Let's say a size of 16, a color of orange, and a style of margin right of spacing divided by 2, right? And down below we'll have another text with item, and here we can pass the rating. All right, hit save. So we have this view here, and let's make this flex direction row. So both the star and the text will be on the same row. And now the missing part is to display the price. So down below we have an image, right? The first column. Second column, it's a view containing the type, the star, and the rating. And then we'll have another text containing the price. So I'll have here a text containing the item price. Great. And now let's give it this styles. So styles, popular item price, and I'll have this popular item image actually, or without the item. I think it can be without the item. So popular price, popular image, and the rating, actually I can do it in line here. So font weight is going to be 700, and for the heading I'll say styles, popular type, right? Or popular name. Type it's better. So let's go to the styles. So we'll have a popular type, popular image, and then a popular price. And for the, it was expecting comma, so this should be directly the style. So for the image, let's apply a 74 height width. Okay, we'll apply a resize mode of contain, and we will give a margin right of spacing, so creating a breathing room here. And for the popular type, we will have a font weight of 800, right? We'll increase the font size, so font size is going to be 20, even less, I think it's, so it's actually maybe 18 or 16. At 16 it's looking good. And for the price, I like to align self to flex end, or actually, you know what, the price should actually be font weight, again 800, right? And I would like to center everything. So to center everything, I'll go here to the item and align items to the center. So now everything will be aligned, and I would like to give to the view where we have this lasagna. So this view, I would like to make this flex 1. So we will split everything, right? This is going to take the entire space of like the available space, right? And now the missing part, this item should also have a spacing or padding of spacing. Great. So we have this beautiful UI here, and I can also remove the show vertical scroll indicator to false. All right. And now let's, in between them, let's actually display the carousel, right? So we will have another flat list. And the data this time is going to be this default data, right? So we'll have here, we will import food as default data. Go here, the data is going to be food. We'll have a key extractor. Key extractor is going to be item and item key, and then we'll render the item. Getting the item, and we'll render touchable opacity, because we'll know that on pressing on the item we'll transition to the next screen, right? So we'll have a dummy on press here, nothing for now, and here inside we'll have a view. So let's style the inner parts. So we will have here a view that will contain the text for the type, so item type, and another text containing the item, how it was the name, so subtype. Okay, and I would like to give this different style. So the styles is going to have this cell width and cell height. So if I'm going to the item itself, I like to have a width of cell width and the height of cell height. Actually, this style should be applied to the touchable opacity, and style is going to be flex1 for the inner part, right? And I'll also like to display an image. So image is going to have a source of URI item image, and style is going to be styles image, and here is going to be styles type, and let's apply the same for the subtype. So subtype. Oops. Okay, save it. So this is not visible. Let's get rid of it, and so let's this scroll should have scroll enabled false, and now let's wrap the whole safe area view. So go here into a scroll view, hit save, and now we will have everything scrollable right inside. And for the flat list, this is not visible. Let's apply here flex1 and background color red and the height of 100. Okay, so now this is visible, and the reason we forgot is to actually return something from the flat list, and we don't need a background color red, we don't need a width and height. Okay, that was a dummy mistake. And for the each item will have a background color. This is actually background color should be here, so we'll create a dummy view and apply a style background color. It's item color, and we will position this absolute. So style sheet absolute fill object, and then we pass the other item. So we have this beautiful design here, and let's apply a border radius of 16. Great. And now the whole item should have a padding of spacing. So we create some breathing room. And now let's style the type and subtype. So we'll have here type, subtype, the image. Right, and for the type, I'll have a font weight of 800. Font size is going to be, let's say, 18, maybe even more, 20, 22, okay, 22. And for the subtype, we'll have a font size of, let's say, 14, maybe 12. All right, and we'll apply a different opacity. So opacity is going to be 0.8. So not that visible. And for the image, we'll have a width of item cell multiplied with 0.7, let's say, height the same, right? So we display this in the middle, and actually to display this in the middle we need to self-align it center, and resize mode is going to be contain, and we position this absolute. And to display properly the items, I'll display those to the center, so we have the popular, food, and the touchable, and I'll align, actually justify the content to the center. Great. And now this view that's containing the subtitle, the type and the subtype, should be positioned absolute, and we'll give it a top of spacing and right spacing, left spacing and top spacing. Great. So we have these items, and for the item cell let's apply a margin of spacing. Great. And this should be horizontal. Show horizontal scroll is going to be false. Oops, false. Alright, so now we have this list, which is looking really nice, but I would like to actually snap into place. So I'll create here a snap to interval, and the snap to interval is going to be full size. And if I'm going to the top here, the full size is going to be the cell width plus spacing multiplied by 2. And the reason for the spacing multiplied by 2 is because the item has some margins, right, left and right. So now this should snap into place and snap to interval. Using this one to make this carousel style, we need to pass a deceleration rate of fast. So it's going to snap really fast into place. Alrighty. So this looks really nice. And what we would like to do next is to go to the details screen and share the image, the background color, and the text, right? So here I would like to navigation. So when you press on the button, so navigate to food list details, it's called, right? Details, and pass the item. Now if we go to the item, details, grab the item, so we'll have the route here, and the item will take it from route params. And first let's display the background image. So if I'm going back, we have this beautiful view here, paste it here, right? So we have this view, amazing. Now let's go and take the view that's containing actually everything, so the view and the image. So we have a view for the type and subtype and the image. Also import the image and go to a screen here, copy the styles for the image, subtype, and type. I have here the images and the cell width. We will export the cell width, right, from the cell food, and import here cell width from food list. Is going to go to the second screen, which is great. And I would like to remove this food text because we don't need it, but this time the view, it's going to be positioned differently, so we will move this even more at the top left, maybe multiply it by by 2, right? So we move this here, and the image itself should be positioned differently. So position top, and the top is going to be height divided by 2 minus, let's say height is not defined, So let's say height divided by 2. Not really. So let's apply here maybe 0.2. Yeah, I think this looks better, but this time I would like to increase the size. So 0.9 and 0.9. Okay, so we increased the size, and so we have the background, we have the image, and we have the text. And we can also display the inner items here. We'll have a view. We have here inside the items, we have some subcategories, and let's iterate over the subcategories. So we'll have subcategories, item.subcategories. We will map and we'll get what we have here. We have the data. Okay, so we will get the item subcategory, right? And here we will return a view containing the image with a source of URI subcategory image, and here we need to pass a key, so subcategory.key. Great. And for this one I would like to make this pretty small, so let's pass a width of 32, height 32, and resize mode is going to be contain. So we have those images here, right? And what can we do now? The view itself should have a flex direction of row. Great. And I would like to justify the content space evenly. So we will space those evenly. And now I would like to move this top. It's going to be height multiplied with 0.3. Actually, what was the item size? I think that I will wrap everything, like both the view and the image, into a view. And what I would like to do here with the image, let's remove the position absolute, right? And on the item itself, so we have the item, the image. I would like to give it, let's see how this is looking, red. Okay, and for the subcategories, let's remove the top. Okay, great. And the image should have a margin bottom of, let's say, spacing multiplied by 4. Okay, and now move the whole container here. So we have margin top here of height multiplied with 0.2 or even less. All right, this is looking really nice, and I can actually give a little breathing room to the image itself. So image, instead of margin bottom, I would like to have a margin vertical of spacing multiplied by 4. All right, actually a margin bottom. It's okay. So we have this one. Let's remove the red. Okay, and for each item I would like to display the background color. So style here is going to have a background color category full color. We'll have a padding of spacing. This should be item full color. Okay, that makes sense. And now I like to have a border radius 50, so it's rounded, and I'll have here a text, right? So here I'll create a view of item price. Great. And I'll also have a text of item description. Great. And this guy should have a padding of spacing. And now let's create some breathing room for the subcategories. So I'll have here a margin bottom of spacing, multiply it with 3. Okay, and here inside for the item price, I'll style this properly. So I'll have a font size of 32, font weight of 700, and margin bottom of spacing divided by 2. Great. And now the description should be font size maybe 14, line height of 20. If we go to fish, we have this beautiful UI, right? And now let's start the animation for those items, and for that we will use the Animatable. So let's start by import Animatable from React Native Animatable, and here I'll define some animations. So animation is going to be at keyframe 0 and keyframe 1. We'll have an opacity of 0 and a translate Y of, let's say, 100, and opacity 1 of translate Y of 0. Okay, and I will apply this animation to the price and the description here. So if I'm going here, instead of a text, I would like to have an animatable text. So animatable text. I'll have an use native driver through. Animation is going to be animation. Delay, it's going to be duration. I'll create immediately the duration. So the duration here, it's plus 100 plus 200, and the duration, if I'm going to the top, const duration is going to be 400. So this is going to appear like using this beautiful UI. And notice that the opacity in our case is not going to work. So let's remove the opacity, but instead apply a different color. So color is going to be RGBA 000.8, even 0.7. So decrease the opacity. Now this should be the animated to the stagger, and we would also like to animate those items here. So now if I'm looking at the full color, I think this is like too bright. So let's decrease the opacity here with 7.7 maybe, or 9.9. Okay, that's looking even better. And what I would like to do now is to create those animations. And to do that, I'll need to create here make animation. That's going to be translate Y. Is going to accept the translate Y and is going to return 0. Is going to be translate Y. It's going to be translate Y, and translate X is going to be, let's say, 0 for now, and at 1 translate Y at 0, translate X to the 0 as well. Let's define this create animation, and instead, so in the first place, let's modify this with -100 reverse, so it's from. The translate Y is going to be -100, and the translate X is going to be the from. Amazing, because both of them will start from this line, right? But this will start from X minus 100, this is going to be X0, and this is going to be X minus 100. So let's define the animations. So const animations. We'll create the animation with 100, then create animation with 0, and create animation minus 100. And now if I go to the subcategories where we map, we have here an animatable view, right? Animations and the index. We have an iteration count, let's say 10, so this is going to animate, right? So let's go. You see they are animating like that. Don't forget to use the native driver for this. And actually, you know what, let's move this a little bit more to the top, so they will start from the center. I would like to make this image to be above the items, and in order to do that we need to go here to the image, so image style, and apply a z-index of 2. So this will be on top of the item, and now looking at it, the translate can be like this. Okay, and also play around with the opacity, so opacity is going to be 0 and opacity 1. Also play around with the opacity. Great, this is looking good. And iteration count, let's remove this, and we will delay with the duration, so duration. And now if I go now, it's going to animate this, and the text should wait longer, right? So let's say 300 and 400. Now this will play the animation and also wait for this. Okay, now that we have all the elements, now it's time to move to the shared element. So go to the food and apply the shared element to some elements, right? And I would like to move this view here, so grab this into a shared element. Let's import this, and I'll have here an ID of item, key, and then meta, right? I'll copy this and paste to the image itself, right? So I'll have here an image, and I would also like to move this background color and wrap this, not this one, but instead the shared element with the ID, and do here a BG, right? And apply the same to the food styles. So where we have the BG, we have the image here. So first grab the image, shared, import the shared element. So this is image. We will have this view, which is having this meta key, right? And same for the BG. So BG. Now we've connected the pages, and let's fix the styles. So the meta should have a style of style sheet absolute fill object, right? Now this item is not visible anymore, and this should also have a style of style sheet absolute fill object, right? And the image itself should have the same. So where we have the image should have the same style as the image itself, the view, mainly because the shared element, it's actually a view underneath, right? So we can pass the styles. So now we've connected the items. Now let's also fix the styles for the rest of the items. So we have those items here. Okay, and I think the spacing top, it's too big. Okay, this is looking good. And now let's create the shared elements. So if I go to a previous tutorial and grab the shared elements here, so we have shared elements, close the tab. We have a food list details and shared elements. We get the item from the params, route params, but we have the meta and BG, right? Hit refresh, go to the 7th episode, and now the items should be moved properly. Okay, so the item is moved. Okay, so one more thing about this tutorial is if you're taking a look at the image itself, there is this background transparent, or I don't know, this is not really fluid, right? And in order to fix this, you see here where we define the shared elements, we have a list of IDs, right? And this is actually really important, and the order actually matters. So if I move the image to be the last, refresh here and go to the tutorial, you'll now see that those Z indexes will be, image will have the bigger Z index. So now if I transition, you see there is no background or that type of flickering between the screens. So play around with the order, and if you have an image, for example, it should be the last one defined here in the list. So this is just a small tip that I wanted to tell you before wrapping up the tutorial. So thank you so much, guys, for staying so long with me. I hope that you've learned how to style, how to share different elements from a screen to another, and how to animate multiple types of elements on the screen. By the way, if you have any issues or any while doing this type of animations, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer all of them and help you out as much as I can. Also, don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button, or double smash the dislike button. If you'd like to become a patron and have access to all the shared element transitions plus a bonus one, the link to how to become a patron is down in the description. Other than that, see you in the next video and enjoy it. Bye.